Hey, welcome back to another episode of Is It Worth It, the show where I'll give you my thoughts over some gameplay on a game I recently played. So if you're brand new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'm doing a giveaway for Horizon Forbidden West. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Hi everyone, my name is Vahlkor and today we're going to be talking about Horizon Forbidden West. Alright, so I finally finished it, Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel for Horizon Zero Dawn. This is, in my opinion, what a sequel should be. For every system and gameplay feature Zero Dawn had, Forbidden West just improves and makes better. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. I played on PS5 using performance mode, and all the footage you're watching is from the live stream here on YouTube. So the events of Forbidden West are happening pretty much right after Zero Dawn. I'm not quite sure if they set a specific timeline, I can't recall. But for this reason, I think it's very important that you either had played the first game or at least have watched some recap videos to get to know the world, the characters, and the overarching story of the franchise. The game does a pretty good job trying to onboard players with the summary of like Zero Dawn events. However, your enjoyment for the game and understanding will greatly depend on the knowledge that you have from the past events. I think some games do a better job at doing this, but I mean, they at least included a nice cinematic with it and kind of like a backstory right at the beginning, and it does a pretty good job. I also think that the story takes a little bit of time to get, let's say, good. You know, it takes a little bit of time to get good, but when it does, it significantly gets better. And as you start to leave the past behind and kind of like venture forth into the Forbidden West, when you truly realize, okay, now we're getting into the new game, now we're getting to the cool stuff, that's when I think the game gets pretty much better in every way. Aloy, Varl, and Eren are all headed to the west, where the journey to save the world from extinction continues. Interestingly, this time around, Aloy has a group of people that in essence are always there for her. Now, I don't mean they're there to like send out missions or anything like that, but what I mean is that when you go talk to them, you get to see their personalities and how they interact with Aloy. And after completing some story missions, these small moments are something that you won't want to miss. I found myself constantly laughing and thinking about the conversations we had, and being able to see how the characters grow through the game with Aloy was pretty cool. Another thing to keep in mind is that the side missions in this game felt really good. Most often than not, these quests and the rewards felt satisfying from one way or another. Almost every single one of them was a multi-phase story with different goals and rewards, and in the end, they felt good to have completed them. I constantly kept having to purposely say to myself, okay, today I'm just gonna do story, and then after 5 minutes, I will get a new side quest that I would want to do because, I mean, I wanted to do more of them. I wanted to know more of the world, and you get so many, and I still have side quests to do, which is good because I am definitely going back to do them. I do have to mention that there were about 3 quests that broke on me, and it made me not able to progress anymore in that quest. And what I had to do to solve it was I actually had to reload my game or die and have some sort of loading going on so that I could go back into the quest and just completed it. All right, graphically, Horizon Forbidden West looks incredible, especially if you're playing on a nice TV. I played on stream just using a regular monitor, but I also played it on the LG CX TV, and I can tell you, once you boot up a game on an OLED TV, or especially this game, you won't want to go back. And I feel like I've been saying that a lot for a lot of games, but it's simply undeniably like true. It is so eye candy, and the way the game draws out the different environments and vistas for you to look at, it will leave you in awe. You will spend a lot of time finding new areas that you just want to stay and like look around and see how everything looks so you can absorb everything. And you're gonna think to yourself, wow, this looks amazing. Trust me, watching this through the layers of compressions in YouTube do not do justice on how amazing this game looks. Horizon Forbidden West will without a doubt be remembered as one of the best games for this console generation of the PS5. While I was playing mostly on performance mode, I didn't find any frame skipping or stuttering issues, with the small exception of whenever you decide to pass time. There is this feature in the game where you can go to a shelter and sit down, and then you can select whether you want to go to the night or the day or morning or whatever. You were about to take control. The camera kind of like pans around, and you're about to take control of Aloy again. As the camera closes by, kind of see a little bit of frame skipping at that point, like a little bit of a, I want to say frame dipping. And that was on performance mode, so I'm not sure how that would have been done on like the graphic mode on a bigger screen. But that was the only exception that I could find where I could noticeably tell that the frame rates were dropping. It didn't matter how many machines I was fighting or whatever I was doing or whatever how many particles were in the screen. The only moment that I could perceive frame skipping was whenever I chose to do that, which doesn't really affect your gameplay at all, because as soon as you gain control of Aloy, it's back to normal. But hey, let's talk about combat. There's no secret that I love the combat of Horizon Zero Dawn, and in Horizon Forbidden West, you won't be disappointed, especially if you're a fan of the first game. As I mentioned before, for every system and gameplay feature that the first game has, this one makes better and improve. One of the biggest improvements is the vastly increased skill tree. There are many different ways to go about upgrading Aloy's movements and abilities, and don't worry, you can unlock everything. It'll take some time, obviously, to get all the skill points you need, provided you complete all the side missions and stuff. You know, even though that's the case, it would be nice to have a small reset feature so that you can reset your skills if you wanted to pick something else, but it's not really a big deal. You know, you'll get pretty much skill points for everything you do in the game, so you would be able to get whatever ability you wanted. And while we're talking about the skill tree, right, when you choose to upgrade Aloy's warrior tree, it directly enhances Aloy melee combat and makes it way better than Zero Dawn. Now, I know for some people, they're finding the melee a little bit lackluster, as you don't do much damage with melee, even if you complete the entire skill tree, and all the combos are locked behind the progression. So the warrior skill tree, I mean, if you don't use it, then you wouldn't change your playstyle at all. However, I enjoy being able to synergize melee combat and range combat in a way that we weren't able to do before. When you're fighting humans in Horizon Forbidden West, it gets a lot better once you unlock some of those abilities that allow you to synergize between the two. You know, you can unlock things like make you hit an enemy and jump backwards and then shoot them in the air, and, you know, stuff like that, which makes it a lot more fluid. While when you're fighting machines, you would probably play more of like the original game, where you will pinpoint specific weak spots and like you will dodge out of the way of incoming attacks, and you'll pick up certain parts of the machines that you want to either hit for with the elements to give them a status effect, or you want to, for example, get the cannon off of the back of a machine and use it against it. Like, everything truly comes together when you see those machines reacting to your attacks when they can't do an attack themselves because you, for example, destroyed or detached a tail, so they can't tail swipe you anymore. However, not all things are perfect. When it comes to Aloy's capabilities, this game pretty much requires you to use the right element or damage type to fight a machine, and unfortunately, a lot of the weapons you do have, they don't have what you need right away. For example, I wanted a bow that had 3 elements rather than 1 normal arrow and 1 element. I didn't get that to the end of the game. The game pretty much forced me to use a bow with 1 element and 1 arrow, and then if I wanted to use another element because there was another machine, then I had to have the same bow, but it will have to have another arrow. You know, it really became a little cumbersome and a little annoying to have to pause my game, go into my inventory, physically swap my equipment, and then go back out and then use the right element. A much better alternative would have been to be able to buy an actual better version of the weapon, where instead of having 1 element and 1 arrow, it will have 2 elements, and then later on 3 elements, and then you can have different sets. Like, you can have your main damage bow with no elements, and then you can have another bow with all 3 elements that you needed, or something like that. On top of that, they added an upgrade system for your current weapon, which in the surface, it felt great. It felt like it would be awesome. But then once you progress a little bit more through the game, you realize how upgrading green or blue variant weapons felt like a gigantic waste of time. There was no point for me. At no point I wanted to spend like my resources upgrading a blue quality weapon when I knew I was going to upgrade it whenever I found the next vendor down the line. Especially if you were looking for those epic and legendary variants, as they are infinitely better than in every possible way that you can even think of. This is, without a doubt, I think one of the worst parts of the game is the way they handle how like your weapon progression does. Once you get past that point and once you start getting the purples and getting the legendary items, then obviously it gets a lot better, because then everything that you do will be for the rest of the game, and you won't have to worry about wasting your materials and resources on making yourself stronger. But hey, to answer the question, is Horizon Forbidden West worth it? Well, I spent about 50 hours playing the game, including a lot of farming and side content, and I still have side content to do. The game can definitely be completed in less time if you prioritize the main story and forgo some of the missions. However, doing that is missing out on some of the most memorable moments and conversations with Aloy's companion. I enjoyed every single moment in this game, and I still looking forward to go back in and finish the rest, like doing all the side stories, grabbing all the collectibles, and you getting the platinum trophy on this game. Graphically, the game looks amazing, and it's gonna make you realize how far the games have come around. It's really impressive how polished and beautiful this game looks. Overall, Horizon Forbidden West is highly recommended by me. Anyways, that about wraps up this episode of Is It Worth It? Make sure to leave a like as well as your thoughts on Horizon Forbidden West in the comments. And if you want to be part of the live stream, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you know whenever I go live. Link will be in the description down below. And as always, my name is Vahlkor, and I'll see you next time.